What the are you doing here, little buddy? Have a rest. Just relax. Take a load off your feet.
Welcome to Antimatters. Hello everyone. My 3-year-old colony of Atta Mexicana taking the spotlight today. They've been having a hard time recently, and about a month ago, I thought that maybe all of the fungus was gonna die. I do believe I gave them some poison lettuce by accident, and it really hammered them. This is them a couple weeks after, where they've managed to about quadruple the size of the fungus from what it was. But yeah, they took a really bad hit. To try and fix them up, I decided to power feed them for a little bit to get the fungus back on its feet. But this has had a few unforeseen, well not unforeseen, but a few annoying consequences. All of that food has basically led the ants to go into overdrive, and at the minute the worker count is very high. It's probably the highest I've ever had it inside of the setup. And when they're hungry as well, I'm met with just walls of ants. It's actually quite worrying. Sometimes you look at them and it's like, if that barrier goes, you are gonna pour out and probably eat me in my sleep. These girls, I believe, are coming up to 3 years old, well, right about now. As their population just keeps climbing, I'm having a few issues, and the outworld sometimes just looks like an antmill. I do have some big plans though for some upgrades. Every square inch of this little outworld though is crawling. There's no safe place. I'd say there's at least a few thousand Atta just crawling around here. They're not always this bad at crawling around, to be fair, but at the minute they are hungry. That's because I'm trying to diet them back down. After their massive power feeding to get them back on their feet, they're a little bit obese now, and yeah, I've kind of got to not feed them too much. They've been in this enraged state now, hungry, for at least 2 days, and I'm going to have to cave in soon and give them some food. I always try to leave it though as long as I can, because I don't want to overfeed them. Once you do that, they can get a little bit too big and eat you in your sleep. I just want them to stay at about 1.5 pods worth of fungus, ideally. As we're now entering spring as well, I can trim it down a little bit more and not worry as much as over winter. For winter, I built them up to 2 pods just in case something happened, and I'm quite thankful that I did that after they got hammered. These girls are just waiting for me, I think, to chuck in a load more leaves. So eventually I have to surrender to the girls and I chucked them in a feed. Today on the menu, dock leaves. I don't normally give them dock leaves, but I saw a massive pile of them and thought, well, I could give them today. And I also collected a load of brambles, and they don't mind dried out brambles, so I can give them those in, let's say, about 5 days, I'd say. The instant the leaves though touched the tank, the Atta were swarming all over it. You can tell they're absolutely starving when they don't even bother really cleaning the leaves. Sometimes if they got loads of food, they'll spend a little bit of time kind of preparing the surface of the leaf. Well, when they're starving, they just start immediately chopping, and it's chop, get it back to the fungus. I guess the ants aren't really hungry, to be fair. Well, they might be, but the fungus definitely is. That's where all these leaves will end up. The dock leaves were a great success, I think, and because they're quite soft, the ants had no problem chopping them. They were slicing and dicing, and before long, the tips of the leaves were completely gone. As the ants slowly started to consume all of the leaves, well, they do seem to calm down a little bit, and they're definitely not as frantic here as they were at the beginning. This colony though will 100% soon, I think, need a little bit of an expansion. I do have big plans though. One part of it involves, well, a big branch or something and a bucket of cement. You'll have to wait and see what that is though, because, well, I'm not sure how long it's going to take to materialise. After just 2 hours, there were basically just the stalks of the dock leaves left. I'm hoping soon as well to do a video comparing the acros to the Atta. But one thing I'll just point out here, look at the polymorphism, like so many different sizes of them. If you look at the walls though now, they're a lot more placid. 3 hours later and even the stems are gone and the girls seem pretty happy with themselves now. But where do all the leaves go? I think it's time to have a look at the fungus. Let's have another look at the clip from the beginning. Here it is about a month ago. If you compare that to now, you can see it's definitely recovered really well. Loads of white lovely fungus. Both pods are rammed full right up to the ceiling again as well. And I think the queen is definitely okay as well, and she hasn't been poisoned because there's a huge pile of brood and babies. All you can see through the glass is a bit of condensation and then just, well, all that creamy stuff. That's all brood. The fungus is also looking super healthy after its collapse. I love how fluffy it all is. You see some poos on it as well there. Because the fungus is the ants' main food, it's also very valuable to them, and they have guards posted everywhere. This ant's job is just to keep an eye on things, I think, and keep everything secure. They may look really scary as well, but they're actually big softies. Until they're chopping off your finger. Could describe them though as gentle giants. When they're moving around at their own pace, they're so slow. You know, inside there's this tiny little brain running this whole massive setup. It must be quite hard. Round the back of the first pod is the other pod, and it's quite hard to see inside, but it looks like there's a load of brood in the top of that one as well. Check out that big pupae as well. I think one day that's going to grow up to be one of the guard ants. They're not the biggest majors either, some of them get absolutely huge. The fungus in the second pod is also looking just as nice as the first one. So fluffy and everything. I do wonder if one day I'll be able to see the queen, but I'm not really counting on it. Hopefully as these girls reach maturity, they might produce some elates, and then I'll get to see some of them giant ants again. Effie, the queen, she really is something to look at. She's huge. So coming up this season for these girls, they should get an upgrade in the next few months, I'd guess. These girls will also likely appear in some of the 24-hour ant streams that I'm planning on in the future. Now that they're getting older, I will have to keep an eye out for wings, and I'm really hoping that this year is the year that they do maybe produce some elates. But yeah, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, may your ants live long and prosper. Have a fabulous week, and bye!